who is more effective, the planet or the nakshatra? It's a good question. Planets are robots. They are mechanical by nature. What drives them, what activates them is the star, that is the nakshatra, which they come in contact with. And what activates you is also the master, the benevolent divine master. Once it happened, a young man must be like me, faithful and deeply devoted, but he still had to figure who his master was. And so one hot afternoon, he set out on his search to find the perfect master. He was ready to go around the world, but he was determined to find the master, the true master, the perfect master. Outside his village, he met an old man, a nice fellow, sitting under a tree. He asked the old man, "Have you ever heard in your long life, 'You look like a wanderer'?" He said, "Yes, I am a wanderer. I wandered all over the earth." The man said, "That is the right kind of person. Can you suggest to me where should I go? I want to be a disciple of the perfect master." The old man suggested a few addresses to him, and the young man thanked him and went on. After 30 years of wandering around the earth and finding nobody who was exactly fulfilling his expectations, he became dejected, depressed. The moment he was entering his village, he saw the old man, who had become very old now, sitting under the tree. And suddenly he recognized that he is the master. He fell at his feet and he said, "Why didn't you say to me that you are the master?" The old man said, "But that was not the time for you. You could not recognize me. You needed some experience. Wandering around the earth has given you a certain maturity, a certain understanding. Now you can see. Last time you had met me, but you had not seen me. You had missed. You were asking me about some master. That was enough proof that you could not see me. You could not feel my presence. You could not smell the fragrance. You were utterly blind. Hence, I gave you some bogus addresses so you could go. But even to be with the wrong people is good, because that is how one learns. For 30 years I have been waiting for you here. I have not left the tree." In fact, the young man, who was not young anymore, looked at the tree and was even more surprised, because in his dreams, in his visions, he always saw that tree, and there was always a feeling that he would find the master sitting under this tree. Last time he had not seen the tree at all. The tree was there. The master was there. Everything was ready, but he was not ready. When the student is ready, the master appears, says the divine master Lao Tzu. The master is not questioning the man. The master is not making any statements. The master is simply sharing the truth. All he says at the end is, I have been waiting for you here. I have not left this tree. 30 years, can you imagine? 30 long years, and the master waits for the young man. How to express such a love, such a deep understanding, such a divine heart? Language is really poor. Words cannot suffice. Certain truths can only be felt in deep silence. When you function from the state of knowledge, you will find many teachers, but never a master. Knowledge is noise, and truth can only be found in silence. Truth is in the stars, the nakshatras. The spiritual energy is in the stars. If the energy of a specific star relates positively with a particular planet, then there is a rhythm, a song, a dance, a music, and life becomes a garden of bliss. There are 27 stars or nakshatras. The ancient seers were highly meditative beings, so much so that they would leave their physical body and transit to the higher realms of the universe. Visit the actual stars, understand the vibrancy of the stars, and then they would come back to their physical body, and then they would write the characteristics of each star that they themselves have visited. That is how deep the ancient seers were. You only know a few famed names, Parashar, Bhrugu, but there are many, many more whose names remain unknown, though they have contributed so much to the science of astrology that even if you take 100 births, you cannot write the deeper elements of stars that these fascinating, highly divine seers have scripted. And they documented the actual experiences that they had when they traveled through their astral bodies to the galaxy stars. To your mind, this may seem impossible, but then what Jesus did. When Jesus was crucified, the Romans believed that Jesus had died. In fact, Jesus never died on the cross. It takes at least 48 hours for a person to die on the Jewish cross. And there have been known cases where people have existed almost 6 days on the cross without dying. Because Jesus was taken down from the cross after only 6 hours, there is no possibility of his death on the cross. It was a conspiracy between a rich sympathizer of Jesus and Pontius Pilate to crucify Jesus as late as possible on Friday, because on Saturday Jews stop everything. Their Sabbath does not allow any act. By the evening of Friday, everything stops. The arrangement was that Jesus would be crucified late in the afternoon so that before sunset he would be brought down. He might have been unconscious because so much blood had flowed out of his body. But he was not dead. Then he was kept in a cave, and before the Sabbath ended and the Jews hung him again, his body was stolen by his followers. The tomb was found empty, and Jesus was removed from Judea as quickly as possible. As he again became healthy and healed, he moved to India and Jesus lived a long life, 112 years in Kashmir. Like our ancient seers, Jesus had the spiritual powers or strength to travel outside the physical body while being alive. Else, how can a man who is nailed on the cross remain so peaceful, so silent? Truth is silent. Jesus also remained silent while the Romans nailed him on the cross. When the Romans were about to crucify Jesus, Pilate, the Roman prefect, was more understanding toward Jesus. He continuously felt that an innocent man was being unnecessarily crucified, and he tried his best not to crucify him. But then there were political considerations. Even when they were about to crucify Jesus, at the last moment, Pilate asked him a question: "What is the truth?" Jesus remained silent. It was a Buddhist answer. Only Buddha has remained silent about truth, no one else. Something has always been said, even if it is only that nothing can be said. Only Buddha has remained silent, totally silent, and Jesus remained silent. He who does not understand your silence will probably not understand your words. Pilate, the Roman prefect, could not understand the truth. Only Jesus knew the truth. Only Buddha, only Mahavira, only Muhammad, only Krishna, only the divine spiritual masters know the truth, and they all remain silent. Knowledge is noisy, and truth can be found only in silence. Silence has a music of its own. It is not dead. It is very much alive. It is tremendously alive. In fact, nothing is more alive than silence. Stars are silent. They glitter like gold. They glow. They shine. They are filled with divine energy. They don't move. They are still, just the way a great yogi is still. Stars are living entities. Yes, there is life in the stars. There is life in the stars. It is the stars that are living entities. Scientists are looking for life on other planets they would never find, because it is not the planets that give birth to life, it is the stars that give birth to life. Indian mythology never says that a certain saint, a certain evolved being has become a planet. No, it never says. But Indian mythology always mentions that Dhruv, the godly man, became a star, to which the world calls the Dhruv Tara. Ancient meditative evolved beings have always been related to stars. They are bestowed with the divine blessings of the gods, and it is these meditative yogis who have become the stars. Look how beautiful is this. Dhruv became a star. You know just one Dhruv, but who knows the whole 27 stars or nakshatras must be at some time great yogis, great divine supernatural beings who once walked on this planet. Stars are beautiful because they are alive. There is immense power, energy, divinity in every star that you know. All 27 stars are the divine seers who have the capability to turn ash into gold and gold into ash. Signs are just an understanding. The ancient seers grouped the stars into certain blocks. These blocks are signs, zodiac signs. That brings me to an enlightened state of how the beautiful journey of the soul begins. The first star is of Ashwini, ruled by Ketu. Ketu, the emptiness, the nothingness. Someday you all should read my book, Gift of Consciousness. It has the mention of nothingness. Out of nothingness we are born. The seed of the fruit has come from nothingness. This nothingness is Ketu. Next month, I will be bringing my new book, Why Ketu Can Heal, and you all can read it. Venus, the second star, Bharani. Life comes, eyes, nose, breasts, all limbs, tastes, pleasures, Venus. It's all related to Venus, Bharani. Then comes Sun, the third star, Kritika. Status comes, dignity. Also, if ignorance prevails, then ego comes, the negative side of Sun. And then comes the fourth star, Rohini, Moon. Mind comes, comparison comes, attraction towards sex comes. Moon is very sexy. In fact, it is only Moon that is too sexy. Any man or woman with Moon in the first house, 7th house, 12th house, or 2nd house is very sexy, sexual by nature, and to be sexy is not a bad thing as long as you follow the right track. Women or men with Moon in the 1st, 2nd, or 12th generally look very attractive. They have that sex appeal or the magnetic personality that drives the opposite sex crazy. The 5th star, Mruga, that is ruled by Mars. Here, sex is in demand. The search for the right mate, to have a passionate sex, to enjoy the pleasures of the bed, to eat, sleep, and just enjoy life and celebrate. The energy of Mars is in full swing. Hot and sexy, this is a base level of Martian energy, where physicality is preferred more over spirituality. So you see, the beginning is on the base level, the middle is on the intermediate level, and it is the last stage of the Nakshatra cycle that precisely is on the higher plane, the spiritual plane. You can call them the birds, the eagles, who live with some higher purpose. 27 nakshatras: Ketu, Venus, Sun, Moon, Mars, Rahu, Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, the first cycle of 9 nakshatras, and that is the base level. Ketu, Venus, Sun, Moon, Mars, Rahu, Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury. The second cycle of 9 nakshatras, the intermediate level. Again, Ketu, Venus, Sun, Moon, Mars, Rahu, Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury. The third cycle of 9 nakshatras, the higher level. This is how the journey of the soul goes through, from the first cycle to the third cycle. And if he or she falls due to ignorance and selfish karmas, then again the cycle starts from the beginning, until a day comes when the soul self realizes and starts moving towards the beyond, the divine truth. No book of astrology will reveal this to you, what I am sharing, for the simple reason that truth cannot be taught, truth can only be shared. And truth can be found only when you turn inwards, when you meditate, when you accept the fact that how foolish, how utterly ignorant you have been, when you would laugh at yourself, when you would no more agree or disagree, when you would simply surrender to the existence, to your master, only then the truth can be realized. Only then there is every possibility to realize the truth. Only then will you remain silent. You will realize the beauty of silence. Real communication happens in silence. The real master is not a teacher. Remember this. The real disciple is not a student. Remember this. Understand this. This is of great significance. The real master will never teach you. He will only share. If you are ready, if your antenna is fine-tuned, you will be able to receive the signals of that divine sharing. You simply become a receiver. There is no learning. There is no agreeing and disagreeing. Agree or disagree is of the mind. There is absolutely no mind. And in that stage of no mindness, you truly become one with the master. There is no need to teach and there is no need to learn. In that oneness, the whole message is delivered and received. It all happens spontaneously. That is how the real master is. That is how the real disciple is. There is no teaching and there is no learning. It is pure oneness. The master becomes the disciple becomes the master. Oneness. Look within. There is no difference between yourself, self, and Guru. You are always free. There is no teacher. There is no student. There is no teaching. Just as a bird leaves no trail in the sky as it flies, the true teaching leaves no trace in memory. The teaching must have no teacher and no student. This teaching never was, it never will be, and it never is, says Papaji, a divine saint and disciple of Bhagwan Sri Raman Maharshi. An old man was sitting beneath a tree. A young boy was trying hard to get some water from a nearby well. The old man was watching. He could see the young boy's effort, his persistence. He decides to show him the way. He moves towards the well, throws the bucket in the well, shows him how to pull up the bucket of water. The boy understands. He says, "Thank you." The old man leaves. There is no trace of teaching, simple sharing. There is no trace of learning, simple understanding. There is no teacher. There is no student. Resonance between the master and the disciple, resonance between the star and the planet is possible only when the wavelength connects. Jupiter in the nakshatra of Punarvasu is home because the wavelength connects, matches well. Similarly, every planet in its own nakshatra is home, can produce more effective results. The whole story of astrology is based on the stars and not the planets. The whole story of your life is based on how you tune into your master, your guru, to how you merge with him. The greater the merging, the greater the depth of understanding. And when you are completely merged in him, then where is the question of teacher and student? There is no student and there is no teacher. It is oneness. How to express this oneness? How to express the oneness of John and Jesus, Sariputra and Buddha, Arjuna and Krishna? How to? Words cannot suffice. The love that happens between the guru and the disciple is the highest pinnacle of love. When the star, the master, relates well with the planet, the disciple, a great miracle is born. The star represents the master, the planets, Graha, represents the disciple. How beautiful is this? And when this relating happens between the star and the planet, between the guru and the disciple, then you see a great leader in the making, a successful man, a successful woman in the making. Life comes from the source of the stars, the nakshatra. When the nakshatra is relating to many positive planets, the result is always positive. The planets are the mediums, the actors. The stars are the directors. If the director is good and if the actors are relating to the vision of the director, the film of your life becomes a hit, a super hit. So it is all linked. It is not a one-way road, it is a two-way road. And if the flow from both the sides is good, then we can say that there is no chance of any traffic jam. Zodiac signs are for your understanding. It is a clubbing phenomenon. Nakshatra is the real thing. All the rituals under the sky, religious, spiritual, esoteric, tantric, all sorts of rituals, right from the day you were born to the day you die, all rituals from this world to the world beyond are precisely performed based on the nakshatra, the stars, and not the signs. Signs are a generic way to point a specific thing. Someone asks, "Where have you come from?" and you answer, "America." Now that cannot give you the real picture because America is so big, almost 10 times bigger than India. But when the answer is New York, you are quick to make a note that this man has come from a certain city of America. So signs give you a general understanding. It is the nakshatra that gets you to the bottom of the matter. Rashi or signs are a shallow way of looking at things. Nakshatra or the stars can help you to understand the depth of the subject. Always remember, the root is the nakshatra, the star. Get back to your roots. Get back to meditation. Get back to your source. Get back to the basic question, who am I? Your own self-realization is the greatest service you can render the world, says the Bhagwan Raman Maharshi. Be still like a star. The first stage of meditation is to still the wavering mind. Still the wavering mind. The nature of the mind is to wander. You are not the mind, says the Bhagwan. Turn inwards and meditate.